guess what? I got a Discord server.
All right, Care Bears versus murder hobos. The idea for this topic is that like the on the forums and on the Discord, the community is kind of like split between you have your I want to do PvE stuff only, and then I want to do PvP stuff, like PvE versus PvP. But in that camp, you have very extra, like you have the vocal ones, which are very like very very extreme. You have your Care Bears like we should have black zones to where or you should have dedicated PvP. You should have designated zones for PvP or PvP. Open PvP should turned off, or you should have designated servers for PvP, and then these are designated servers for PvE. They don't want PvE. They don't want PvP into the game. They don't want to be forced PvP. Or they should be tolerable. It's like New World.
Are you taking this from the Discord, or are you taking this from everywhere?
Both. I'm taking it from everywhere. Both forums and Discord. And then you have your murder hobos. Murder hobos thing, and what kind of like sparked this was that I was on the forums and someone was suggesting a pirate node. And so, like, the murder hobos think that the corruption system is too extreme. The kind of people that want to find every way to get around the corruption system. Like, the game's already a PvP thing. They just want to figure out every way to make it so they don't get punished for killing or griefing. And they'll make the defense. They'll make the defense on the forums and Discord, like saying, I don't want griefing. I just want to be able to PvP when I want to PvP without being punished for it. And that's the defense they'll give themselves, but really and truthfully, like they just wanna. It's already a very heavy PvP game. I don't see any reason like why you would take away the corruption system.
I think it's just their understanding of the game versus yours, or like it's a difference of perception. They obviously see the system set up in a way where they can't always PvP because of the corruption system. Whether I guess I don't like it. Yeah, I think that's.
We do have other so those people that will try to figure out like game ways of thinking. How can they'll suggest game way or improvements of like, hey, we should add this to the game to make it to where like corruption punishes you less or what have you. And then you do have straight up murder hobos that are like, I don't care about the corruption system. I'm just gonna go fucking red people right off the bat. I can open world whenever the fuck I want. We do have those too, but like we do have the more vocal ones that try to come up with gameplay that. Also, a lot of murder hobos don't want open world PvP like they say. They just want to be able to win. Yeah.
I disagree. I think, I don't know. I can kind of understand their sentiment. They just want to be able to PvP when they want to PvP. They like their world PvP. And the way they see the corruption system, the way that their current understanding of the game, they worry that they won't be able to PvP all the time.
I mean, we have an arena system, right?
We have an arenas, yes.
Well, there's a lot of people who like open world PvP. They like
I know, but okay. Are you guys done? Because I wanna.
Yeah.
Screw those people. Straight up, screw those people. Don't listen to these people. Don't talk to these people. No, I know in a second.
No, I think you're just. I don't know. It's kind of. I think.
No, it's
the correct answer is let them wait till the game comes out and see how all the systems play together.
Exactly, but also
saying screw them is not helpful for the situation.
Screw them in the sense of don't engage in a conversation with them. Because here's the thing. This always happens. People come on without doing any bit of reading or watching any videos. They do the basic, like, okay, this is Ash's open world PvP. Okay, this is what I want. Right? They don't, and then they say, I want open world PvP, but I don't want to get it corrupted. And then you go into a 2-hour explanation with them, explaining them you can PvP anytime you want.
I don't explain to them.
I don't do it. I don't do it either anymore because I used to. Literally, some guy come in. Yeah, I don't like the corruption system because I don't want to get fucking punished for open world PvP. I'm like, hey, listen, there are sieges, career nodes, arenas, and like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Right? It's not that I say screw them as a person. It just screw people that think they can demand something or say like, hey, yeah, I want this would be way better without doing any reading. Like, it's 2022. We have all this information on the wiki. They make sure everything is on the wiki, up to date. And if you would go on the wiki and just Google PvP, you would understand that, hey, this is a PvP based game that is heavily also driven by PvE content. The only thing that I would say is screw the people that say the corruption system is not worth it or is broken, are people that say they want a PvP, but in real life, all they want to do is gank people so they can feel better about themselves. That's the only thing I would say with screw people. That's my take.
So, Stackers, you want to add to that?
I mean, I don't think so. I kind of think I spoke my thing is I think a lot of this comes down to people not completely understanding how everything will play out. And I mean, even I don't know how everything will play out. And that's why it's I kind of approached it from wait till the game comes out. There's a lot more PvP systems than just the corruption system.
Exactly. People will fight back. I mean, Kalinor just
there's
just
rewards for the flagging system. So the whole PvP thing. Like I'm less making this argument from the perspective of people that don't understand the system. I'm making this argument from the point of view of people that do understand the system. So like when I say Care Bears, I'm saying Care Bears that understand that the corruption system is a thing. They'll understand that fucking like all the PvP like all the PvP stuff, but they still want to try to change the game into a more either RP friendly or casual friendly. Like I can just go around and do all the PvE stuff, that aspect. And then murder hobos, as in like they understand the mechanics and things like that. They understand like how the corruption system works, but they want to like try to.
I don't think that's the thing is I don't think anyone that's not a thing. No one understands how any of these systems will work out. I mean, they understand the mechanics. That's one thing, but actually understanding how
punishing it's going to be,
how people will play it, and how it affects their gameplay. I don't think anyone can really knows, and by I don't think anyone really knows. No one really knows. We haven't played the game.
Just to be clear,
games with similar mechanics play completely differently for a multitude of reasons, and that's why like even people who like that, I'm going to say they even if they have read every mechanic, they don't understand. And I'm not saying they're going to like it. I'm just saying they don't understand. So
just to be clear, earlier when I said screw them, I meant both Care Bears and Hobos.
Yeah,
because there's that's something that even long-term community members, which I was really surprised by. I'm not gonna say who was it, but somebody that's been in the community as long as we have, came back on the Discord and said this is a PvP only game. And I'm like sitting here, I'm like, dude, you've been here as long as we have. You know that is not the case.
Some people do that to try to be manipulative for one reason or another.
But
I see people who say that, to be like to try to like guilt.
Stir the pot.
Yeah, but then I mean, if they want to stir the pot, that's fine. But I really, at least in that moment, I thought really that person either had a head injury or wasn't listening over the past I don't know how many years. Because we all know the PvE content drives the PvP content. The PvP content in return drives the PvE content. There is a balance in Ashes that you cannot break.
There are people that do things in the defense of this. Like there are people that do not in defense. Like just to add to this, there are people that do think that like Ashes will be a more heavily PvP than PvE type game because like you have the open world, you have the caravan system, you have the wars, you have arenas and stuff like that, and they don't and like because of we don't know how you have all of that, and then you explain like you have the artisan class system, you have the open world dungeons. Open world dungeons are still open world dungeons, like you still can PvP in them. There are no like 100% safe zones except for your freehold and like a select few other places. Like people see it more as a PvP game because of like all the systems, and they don't know how hard or like challenging or like actual PvE content. Some of them think that the PvE in the game won't be challenging at all. It'll be there to climb a progression. So you it'll be an ends to a means, so you can
Means to
wait
an
for
end.
PvP. Yeah, a means to an end for PvP. I'm getting my gear so I can PvP more and harder.
I mean, I had that belief for the longest time as well, but every time I talk to Steven about it, I mean, we had him on the podcast, and he said there will be raids and stuff that is so hard that only 1% of the server will be able to beat it. So Steven always confirms that there will be raid content and stuff that is super hard to beat, right?
100%. And there are games that do that. And you can believe. I choose to believe him, but without number one, you never know what the community is going to do. The community, your gameplay members always do way past what you think they're going to do. And number two, until we actually see that, we can't 100% say that it'll be so hard. They said there'll be stuff in the game you won't discover for that you won't be able to discover for years now, for a couple of years, or there'll be raid bosses that people probably won't be able to defeat for months. They'll be challenging that for a long time. It'll be super hard level content like everyone wants from fucking EverQuest and fucking all these games that all these raiding games we've played in the past. Until we see those systems, it's the same with I guess it's the entire argument. Until we see a lot of these systems, it's all word of mouth.
I mean, yeah, in Alpha 1, that's when we will actually, see this.
Alpha 2.
Alpha 2. And I'll be honest, if the raid content or the PvE content is boring, I'm gonna be straight up and be like, okay, so great. So this is trash.
There are people that want it because they're promised the raid content that you hard challenging raid content that you remember from the olden days of MMORPGs. There are people that are following the game specifically for that.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
I'm one of them.
Yeah. There are people that are following it specifically for that. Everything else is more of a just like sweetening the pot kind of thing. But until we see those raids, the dragons during the fucking, I'm talking about the 3 dragons. Were fun, raid bosses. They had fun mechanics. They were fun. They were fun to do. The actual dragon, that was in the dungeon and stuff like that, I found less fun. But the 3 elemental dragons, I think were super fun.
I mean, and this is
challenging. Yeah,
this is where I still have hope. The PvE, especially the raid content, needs to be good, needs to be challenging. If it's not, a lot of WoW players, a lot of people that you want in your game, they're gonna be turned off.
100%, and it's gonna be mainly the PvP crowd.
Yeah, and this is something. I'm sorry. You can be the biggest hardcore player you want, but if you really think that you can run a game, mostly on PvP stuff, then I'm sorry.
Several games have tried and failed.
Exactly. That's something that needs to sink in. Some people need to enjoy the game, and I'm sorry, the PvE Care Bear crowd, till this day is still way bigger than the hardcore PvP crowd in MMORPGs. Right? I have not.
But outside of MMOs, there's definitely a strong PvP crowd.
Yes.
And there's not really been a MMO that's done a good job of catering to PvP players.
Yeah.
So I think those arguments are shit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a little hyperbolic like that.
Go for
but
it.
it's like just because games change, mechanics change, what's popular changes. So I don't think I think that's just almost manipulative to be like, you need to, like, I feel like you're saying like you need to cater to this.
No.
When they've already told you their goal with the game. They want to have challenging content, and I feel like speaking anything more to that is just you trying to almost like.
But that's my entire point for this entire topic, is that like Intrepid has said what they want with the game, and people will try to push the game into their direction one way or the other. Like that was the entire point of this topic. It's like Care Bear, and I use the Care Bear Murder Hobo titles as extremes. Like you have like extremes for those, like the vocal extremist. You have people that try to push the game into, we don't want PvP in the game, and then people that are like, we don't want to be punished for our PvP.
No, I mean, okay. Here's my point. Here's my thing. I think that came across wrong, so I apologize. The point that I wanted to make was, Ashes has a balance between PvE and PvP. Right? That's the key. That's the key driving point, that you have change within the world that is driven by either PvE or PvP. If you would now put more emphasis on one aspect than the other, that balance would become less enjoyable for the larger MMORPG crowd.
I think this is one of those mutual. PvP and PvE aren't mutually exclusive, but this is one of those arguments where it's like you're trying to make it mutually exclusive. I don't think that's.
I'm not trying to make it.
If PvE content is not topic. Sorry, PvE content does not become worse because PvP is better. If PvE content is bad, it is not PvP's fault.
I'm not saying that. No.
They need to focus and improve the PvE.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they would now put or change something to make it more accessible for PvE players, the balance would be thrown off. If they would do something to make it more accessible to PvP players by changing the corruption system, it would be thrown off. That's what I'm trying to say. From the way they explain it, from the way we know it, from the way what we have seen, it works in theory. That's what I'm trying to say. If you would, for example, now throw out the corruption system and people could, do all that now, it would hurt PvE content in the sense of PvE players could not, do what they normally do because they always have to worry about PvP, and then they would maybe throw away the game. Same thing comes for PvP players. If you would make the corruption system even more punishing to allow people to do more PvE
or do
content,
away with it entirely and take it and make it a toggle.
Exactly. Then that would also turn people away. That's what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
I guess I'm from the perspective of those are just different games. It's not the game that Ashes is trying to be.
But that was the entire point of the thing. I think we're going in circles now. I think it's time to go to the next topic.